What
I
did
hope.
okay.
Yeah, this is recording now. Thank you so
Mm-hmm.
much.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the one and only Yashiqa. It's
Hello, hello.
I am
Thank you for
so
having me.
happy to invite you, and I was just going through your resume, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like amazing, awesome. You are like really an educated and talented person. So, would you like to speak a little bit about, or you want me to talk about you a little bit, just a background that you know how you got into this whole thing in like psychology, and your husband, you know, he passed
Mm-hmm.
away because of some terminal illness and
Right.
amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, something like I know these
Yeah.
names are kind
Amyotrophic
of
lateral sclerosis along
okay.
the alphabet.
Oh, okay. So we are going to ask you what is that, and we will definitely would like to know a little more about that. But you
Mm-hmm.
are also a wonderful life coach, and
Mm-hmm.
you have your undergrad in psychology, and you have your master's in psychology, and you're a life coach. And
Mm-hmm.
please do tell our audience, you know, at the end, you know, where they can reach you and can find you
Mm-hmm.
for your
Okay.
counseling or for your coaching and training.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so impressed to and honored that you're here with me today. So
Thank
let
you.
me know about yourself a little bit.
Okay, currently I am Yashiqa Broughton Mack, and yes, I am a life coach, undergrad in psychology and master's in counseling and psychology. But most people don't know those things about me because you've been knowing me for a while, but I don't talk about that stuff. And so it's like when you get into a conversation with me is when some of the layers start coming off. It's like, okay, well, what do you really do? Oh, you have a lot of stuff back there tucked away. And my husband did pass away in 2012 from ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is a neurodegenerative disease. It's a terminal illness. And for layman's terms, it's like you're familiar with a stroke, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Except in ALS patients, it's more like a stroke in the spine because your spine controls all your movement, your muscles. So if you have a stroke in your spine, your muscles die,
Right.
and
Right.
you don't have a warning of when they're going to die. They just start to die, and all your body is made up of muscles, including the diaphragm to breathe. So eventually, an ALS patient will pass away from
Some choke
complications with breathing. Mm-hmm.
breathing. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it looks like you have kind of gone through a lot of a challenging period there, and it was like quite tough. So how did you overcome? What was like something that made you like more stronger and more inspired to achieve what you have achieved after that?
Well, during that time, I had 3 kids, and my little one, when his dad was diagnosed, he was only 3 months. Well, matter of fact, no, he hadn't even made 3 months yet. So I didn't really have a choice but to keep moving because all the kids were young. And then also with my husband, because we were 2 strong people, he was military as well. And so we didn't have a choice but to keep moving. And then after the fact is that my mind is such in that I guess in that state of progression, move, keep moving, keep going, keep doing, that it never really stopped to slow down to say, okay, reboot or whatever. But I just kept continues to get over it, continue to get over things. Even to this day, it's like I constantly get past things. Like I can stay in a moment. I have my moments, but my mind would move me off of that. Like, okay, you had your few minutes, now let's move. You had your few minutes, now let's move. And so that's basically what it is. And now I look back and I just look at it had to be the power, the strength of the Lord of God to keep me moving, to keep me going for a purpose and for a reason. And now I feel like I am where I'm supposed to be in my purpose, and that
Awesome.
is to do something else. And it's funny, because even back then when I was going through, I used to think to myself that it's me because and God made me strong because somebody else couldn't be. And that's what I used to say to myself. I used to actually thank him, because I know that I'm strong and you made me strong for a reason because there's somebody that wouldn't have been able to withstand the things that I was able to withstand. So I thank you for sparing that person.
That's amazing. That's
Mhm.
amazing. And now that you are like a life coach, what do
Mhm.
you teach or what do you train people about?
Self-development. Self-development, and some people just say personal development, but I say self because to me, self is more, it's just more of a personal, I'm talking to me, because I believe that everything exists, everything can transpire from a decision, and that decision is a decision that we make for ourselves. And I believe that some of our paths in life are derived from the decision, whether it's good or bad. So I try to teach people to be in a place to where they accept the decision that they've made, acknowledge it, and then try to create something to either, if it's favorable, keep. If it's non-favorable, then let's fix it. But let's start with the self. Let's start with inner. Let's see what's going on with you.
Okay,
Like a lot of women self-sabotage themselves. And
right,
we
right.
do that for the sake of, you know, one thing, like compliments. We can say, "Oh, you look nice today." Say, "Oh no, I'm not looking nice today. I'm,
Right.
no, it's been so learning to not do that and to
Hmm.
start building yourself from inside."
Right, right. So
Mhm.
when we are talking about, decision making, that's something that you brought up.
Mhm.
That decision making is something that you make people come to the point where they have to realize and they have to start making a decision. But how do you make people take action?
Mhm. To take action for that, because first of all, you have to. I do this thing called paid in full, where you prepare and plan, and some people say pray, but you have to accept and acknowledge, and then ask for an intentional deliverance. And sometimes that deliverance is from you, because once you can acknowledge it, what you've done, then you or what you didn't do, then it's an awareness and the person themselves, because I don't want to push you into what you're going to do, but I want you to be aware. Because for instance, a lot of people, a lot of some women, that for instances with relationships, you know I keep getting this, I keep getting that. What you do realize, what you focus on expands,
Right.
and what you attract is you. And so we have to change that mindset in a sense, okay, and look at ourselves, because some people just go through life saying, "Oh, woe is me," but what did woe is me do? We have to change that. So let's go back and let's change something about the way we're thinking to get to the place where this is what we're pulling, what we're attracting. And I realize that this is really a powerful thing. It's what we think, what we say, what we speak into existence. It is really powerful. And so many people do not realize that. It's only a few people who actually get it. We've been taught it all our life, but it's only a few people who truly get it, that it matters. Because you say, "Oh, let's speak it into as if it were." So what are you really saying? What are you really saying? You're saying it, but you really don't believe it. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like the most important thing, because most of the people, the reason that they don't take action,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a motivational speaker myself, and I
Mm-hmm.
do the trainings and all that, and I know that the success in life comes from taking massive actions.
Mm-hmm.
Unless people take, really a lot more action or a lot more work and a commitment, only then you can think about achieving some sort of success. But outside of that, it's not. So I mean, what are some of your goals in life?
So mine right now,
Yeah.
and that's a funny thing that you asked too, because now I really want, one of the goals is really to help and assist as many as possible people, if on that level. Personal type goal is make a just completely have a better life for my kids, which they don't have a bad life now, but to set up something where they would not have to want for anything. And because they're my whys, they're my whys in life. And when you ask for the goals, because I was telling you about my mind, I've overcome so much. So most of my A and B's, which I just realized, just learned the ABCs of goals,
Right.
because I can tackle stuff all the time. And then it made me stretch. These last couple of weeks, I had to stretch and really look for something that would scare me into being an actual goal, because I can just make things happen. So I would say my scary goal would be what I'm doing now, because even though I've been doing it, now I'm putting it into a platform that it makes sense, which is, it has always made sense, but it's in a platform to where this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is what you, I'm not going to tell you what to do, because that's the counseling side of me. I know a lot of people think that it's advice given, but counseling is not. And so the coaching side of me can say, okay, I'll give you A, B, and C, and this is what you can do. But that counselor is going to pull back, because I want you to be responsible for yourself. I want you to be responsible for your own decisions that you make. I can give it, give you an idea, but I want you to be responsible for it.
Okay, so what you are doing is, so like your personal development workshop is like, may I ask, how long is your workshop, and what kind of modules that you train
Mhm.
people?
Now, well, with this is all new. I'm still developing a lot of this. So this stuff is not, it's not like how you already have your stuff together. Now this is new to me, so I'm still putting stuff together. So I started very slow, and then I know the universe tells you to move fast, but no, I'm still, because I am still that person who likes to dot the I's and cross the T's. So everything will be a process for me. But the first process I
Yeah.
am doing now is working on the book, and then going through that process. So I have gotten a lot of people to work with as far as networking to get this stuff together. So I'm probably around the first of the year, it'll be a platform that's really solid.
Okay. I I kind of, whenever I hear people talk about universe love speed and all that, but
Mm-hmm,
I kind of disagree with that. I think the
mm-hmm,
universe is going with the speed that it is going. It's
mm-hmm,
going per second, and it's going the way it
mm-hmm,
was going before, and it will keep on doing. It's
mm-hmm,
not the universe. It is like, I think the time has come that we should start thinking it is us, that we the people who are committed, they should be the one who should love the speed, not the
true.
universe. The
Mm-hmm,
universe is going the way it is going from zillions of years. It
mm-hmm,
is us who needs to modify and look into ourselves, and get into that mode to take the speed, because we have to match the speed of with the time that we have remaining on this planet.
yeah.
And I think that is where I always listen to this universe love speed, but I could hardly figure out that. But I
Mm-hmm,
just thought about it. I said it's not the universe, it is humans,
mm-hmm,
because humans are made, uh, like, I won't say they are made, but they become lazy. We become lazy.
mm-hmm,
We don't take action. We just kind of procrastinate, and we don't have that, the passion and the desire and the fuel and the drive that makes it, get up. I always talk about, I'm sorry, I have invited you, but I'm just saying a few
no, go
things.
ahead.
Yeah. I
Mm-hmm,
always give an example in my training that, when, let's say, for example, you're dead tired and you're exhausted, and you tell everyone that don't wake me, and don't, no one, I'm not listening to anyone, and I'm just going to bed and I'm relaxing and all that. And all of a sudden you hear, someone says, yo, your daughter or your child or someone needs your help. You jump out of the bed and just rush to, attend that situation. So what is that make you run? What is that
mm-hmm,
make you attend that? So unless we as humans have like that kind of, passion and drive, that's where, you can match the speed with
mm-hmm.
the universe. And those people who are kind of working on that, that's what I personally think. What do you think about that?
I think when you say that your universe loves speed, but still, even with that, you still are your own person, your own entity.
Right,
Because even with me, I'm in a program, but I'm still going to move at my own pace. But that doesn't mean that the universe is stopping because I'm moving at my pace, because it's
right,
not. It's still moving. But you have to be, again, the captain of your own ship,
right,
and work with what's working well for you. And that's what I do. Because even though we could be on a chapter, or we're doing a book together, and you're like, oh, I'm on 3. And if I'm not, I'm not.
right,
And I'm not going to rush up to where you are. I'm going to go there when I'm ready.
right,
But that doesn't, but the universe is still moving. So
right.
you get in there in that funnel where you fit in. And some of us can jump in and keep going, and some people are going to be spit out because they're going to be, okay, we just cannot keep up with the process, the movement. And then some of us can be, okay, I'm going to come in, I'm going to jump in right here because this is my moment, and now I can keep moving and keep going. And that's the way I look at things. Because
Yeah,
even
yeah.
no matter what I say about me, like the universe loves speed, and the universe is, because our days are quick or faster. We're having days that if you want to just look at the earth, our 24 hours is not the same as it was when we were kids. We're having fast days, fast season, because we're like, golly, today already the end of November. Yeah, it's like it just started. So so with that being said, it's like it's not slowing down for us. It's like where are you gonna fit in to it? Are you
No,
gonna be able to get in, or are you not gonna be able to get in?
no, this is quite interesting to me that,
Mm-hmm.
I've been always hearing that people say that, when we were child, the time was really slow. And now that we are kind of up in age, a little bit, and the time is like flying. What is that perspective that you think that the time was slow before and now the time is moving fast? I mean, how do you how do you think like that?
Well, I just could go by myself, and then also talking to my mother about things, how things are going. But we have to realize too, in this day, we're more into a microwave society, so everything around us is moving faster. So that's another process.
Right.
Absolutely everything. We don't even, the people, we want things yesterday that can come, we want it yesterday. So that also what I'm saying is that it's moving fast, and it is moving fast. It's moving very fast. So it's like, okay, where are you? Where are you, and what are you gonna do?
Right, right, right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, tell me about like, what is like your vision in the next year, and what do you think that what are some of your goals that your C type or big universal goals? What are some of the goals that you have?
For 1 year from now, I will have my book published, written and published. As a matter of fact, I have two. One's going to come out in February 2021, and then the other one's going to come out later part of the year. And I
Wow.
also see myself doing a couple more podcasts. I may even have my own created, which I said about around about May. And it's not like the platform. Hopefully, hopefully, we have COVID under control. We can meet. Well, we can meet in person. That we can also
Right.
be able to talk in person. But I don't know. I don't keep up with what's going on. But I do hear in the background that looks like we're going to come into some shutdowns again. I don't know. I don't know for a fact or anything like that.
Yeah,
Nobody's.
I mean, yeah. In
Mhm.
in our state that I mean, I've been hearing that we are going to shut down the whole thing
Mhm.
pretty soon,
And
but I don't know.
well, if we do, that'll give me another opportunity to really focus on myself and read, and also write. And that's one goal of mine, is to write and to
So
get some more
tell
books
me
read.
tell me about your book that is coming up like in
Mhm.
February. What is the
Mhm.
topic of that book and what are you writing? And
The-
also, did you learn from someone how to write or you just started on your own?
no, I've been writing since I've been I won't say in the world, but no, I've been writing since the second grade. But I
Really?
stopped for a long time. I stopped because I let life happen. Recently, being into the Power Voice and with John Tallarico's course, his coaching, I've met a lot of other people. And I'm not one to want to reinvent the wheel. If there's somebody out there who knows how to write a book, or is a coach in writing and publishing, and has the platform, I don't have a problem with getting in there with a template. And so there is a coach in the class. And so also with learning the new self, with the thinking to results, is getting to the place to where, with clarity, which is setting the dates. Because initially I knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't set a date. I was writing a book ever since my husband passed away in 2012. In 2013, I said I was writing a book, but I didn't. And so here it is 8 years later, and I really have the desire to do it. The book will be about sipping slow. We used to, it's a term that he and I used to have, and it will be about my personal life with him and his disease, the learning process, and the process as of the things that we take for granted in life, and then not taking the time to just sip slow, smell the coffee, smell the wind, smell the rain. Because I don't know if people remember, you can
Wow.
smell the rain, but we move so fast that we don't take the time anymore. Sip slow, enjoy life, and just see what it's bringing us. And a lot of times, it's again that self-awareness,
That's awesome. That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. I really like the idea. Sip slow. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that means, and it's a great idea to sink into, life and enjoy the moments.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great mystic and a saint that I follow called Rumi, and I don't know if you have heard of him. Uh,
Say the name again.
Rumi, Rumi. Rumi is a very famous mystic, and he says that, I am a person of the present. I live in present.
Mm-hmm.
I live in the moment. And that's the idea of living in the moment. That's exactly what you talked about. And that's a beautiful concept. That's a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
concept.
Mm-hmm.
So now this book that you are bringing that out in February, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what the message is that, we got to slow down and enjoy life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what do you think how the COVID is affecting, now that you're talking about, slowing down, and we have kind of slowed down. The
Mm-hmm.
economy has slowed down. Everything has slowed down. And so how are you dealing with that, and what are you going to tell people how to deal with that?
This year the pandemic really slowed me down, and I didn't realize how fast I was going until I realized I hadn't even grieved or mourned. My husband passed away in 2012, which was 8 years ago, and I
Right.
knew in last year at 7 years I started making changes in my if that was at 7 years. I noticed the changes started happening the way different way I was feeling, and then this year the pandemic hit, so I didn't have a choice but to stop and slow down because a lot of things were shut down. So with that being said, you don't have time to do anything else but spend time with yourself. And then also in that process, my son had a bad car wreck. My daughter had an issue. So it was like, okay, all this stuff is going on. So I ended up having to just sit with myself. And I broke down because it's like, okay, I've been moving through life so fast, not even realizing that this I'm moving, I'm accomplishing things, but am I really accomplishing the things that I want to accomplish? I know her, but do she know her? Is basically where I was at. I know you, but do you know me?
Right.
And that's what happened. So this pandemic allowed me that time that I needed. I don't look at the pandemic like some people may say, what else is going to happen in 20, 20, what else is coming? I don't look at it like that. I embrace it because I'm appreciative. I'm appreciative of what it did for the world. But although I'm very, don't get me wrong, the deaths, I'm very heartbroken over that. But the fact to stop and say, okay, what's important, the things that the pandemic has unveiled about the breaks in the systems that aren't that where you thought you had an ironclad system, including the families, they're not. And so now you can look at these things where husbands and wives really didn't know each other, moms and kids, and then we want to say, oh, they need to go back to school so I can get a break. No, the school didn't have the kids. You had the kids. You need to deal with your own children.
Right.
Learn your kids, and now you understand what the teachers are going through. And so I look at the pandemic in that way. I look at it as in, okay, this is again acknowledging something. You made a decision. Now you have to acknowledge it and accept it. Now do something about it intentionally. Decide what you're going to do. Now you have to raise kids. Now you have to cook meals. You know, now you have to read. Now
And
you have to sit with yourself.
right. And
Now
I
you have to
agree.
learn
Yeah.
yourself,
Right.
Now you have to, that person sleeping next to you in the bed. Oh, that's your husband. Oh, that's your wife. Oh, you do that in the morning. I didn't realize that because we're just going. So now you
Mm.
know. And I think
Mm.
if you change the way you look at it in a positive way, just learn that person. I always say, I'll use this phrase like renegotiating contracts. Contracts are negotiable. That's including relationships. You're married, renegotiate that contract. What attracted me to you when I met you is going to be different 10 years later now that we have kids. But let's
Right.
go back to the table. Let's look at us again. Let's look at us and develop. Oh, I actually like you. Oh, I don't like you. you
Right.
know,
Right. That's
and don't be afraid to do that. I think if the ones who want to pretend like there are no changes are the ones who are ending up in divorce, who are end up mad, who are end up in these issues instead of coming back and say, hey, I didn't know you did XYZ. But now do I know that bothers me? Can we work on that? That's a yes or a no. Or maybe I didn't know you did XYZ. Let's work on that. Okay. And so, and I call it just renegotiate the contracts. Just because you said I do 25 years ago doesn't mean that it can't be looked at again.
Right. I think that's awesome. That's exactly the point, that
Mm-hmm.
reaffirm and reestablish and reconnect and go over, some of the, because the whole idea in relationship is, and I agree with you that this time, COVID time, has given that opportunity to people to kind of reconnect and understand each other and help each other and get to know more at a deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
Because prior to that, we weren't paying it too much attention on the kids. They were doing what they were doing. They were going to
Mm-hmm.
school. They had their own kind of busy schedule, and we
Mm-hmm.
didn't know, their habits, what they were doing, and how they were
Mm-hmm.
doing. And now that they're right before our eyes, and we can probably, instead of getting rid of them or thinking that, I've had too much of the kids,
Mm-hmm.
we start to rebuild and reconnect and refocus.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's challenging for the parents also.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that, but
You,
I agree with what you're
mm-hmm.
saying.
One thing that I just did this week, my son is 11, my youngest one, and it is easy to be in the house and we're in the house and we're not here because he likes to play his games. And then sometimes I may be working or doing something or just in my room and then not realizing the time that we like to spend alone, which you have people in, little ones outside your room. So what I did recently is that I said, what, let us do something different. I decided we're going to learn to play an instrument together. So we are
Oh,
taking
wow.
guitar lessons, he and I, we're doing it together. And it's the neatest thing. So we started this week, and this is something that has evolved from the pandemic of 2020. See, that's positive. That's a positive thing. So we're going to learn to play it together. So we did our lesson on Tuesday. We both enjoyed it. And so I'm going to practice here in a few minutes because he just finished his trumpet. He does trumpet for school. And so, and it's going to be, it's just fun. And he's so far,
Yeah,
we did the
awesome.
one lesson at first. He was like, really, mama? But the time together, he likes that.
Right,
And it's
awesome.
something totally different than going to out to eat or going to McDonald's or going to this is something different for us to do that we can be there and learn to play an instrument together.
Wow, I love that idea. This
Mm-hmm.
is awesome idea. This is great idea. I think I'm going to start that too.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So tell me about your second book that you're planning. I mean, uh, you haven't finished your first book and you
Listen,
got like your second book coming.
but
That's
listen,
awesome.
Shams, I have 3 titles already. This stuff has been given
Wow.
to me over the years, but I didn't have time to stop until this year. They've
Hmm.
been there. It's not, it's nothing new. It's just like, it's just time for it to birth. And
How do you get
so,
that energy to work on all these things,
because, exactly, right? Because I've truthfully and honestly, I've met some really great people, you being one of them, in the groups.
Oh,
Because
wow.
you can really pull from wisdom and just you don't have to say much, but you can just watch people and you can read what people do, and
Mhm.
it pull and that energy can come over on you. If you already have energy, then you get some really good vibes just coming. And then what
Mhm.
people are doing, like for instance, you decided, okay, you said, oh, I'm going to do a podcast. You just did it.
Right.
You didn't have, hey, I'm going to do a podcast. I'm just going to do it. So
Right.
why wouldn't that have for someone else say that's in the group say, okay, well, you know what, they just did it, so why not just do it? So but yes, I had these books in me, but I just didn't write them, and then I didn't know how, but now the how was coming. And as also I have a chapter that I'm writing in one of my friends books about daughter. She's doing a mother and daughter book. So I have a chapter that I'll be doing, and that chapter is called when life knocks you down, try something different.
Right.
Yep. So, and that's
Uh,
also coming up. So it's coming. I put it out there, and it doesn't have any choice but to come back to me the right way.
So, what is the second book's title that you have selected? What is the
It's going
title?
to be off of the chapter that I'm putting in my friend's book. When life knocks you down, try something different.
Oh,
And that
okay.
one is going to be about a journey between all of them going to be based on personal type things, personal development, self-development, what you have to do to overcome. That one will be dealing with my daughter and what I had to learn with her, discovering that you have a teenager that's a teenager, you think is out of control, but later on finding out that my teenager had mental illness. So how do you overcome that? How do you adapt? How do you
Mm.
go back and rewrite the history that you have in your head from all the pain
Wow.
of being
Wow.
being a rebellious teenager?
That's going back into the history and going back
Mm-hmm.
into that mental
Mm-hmm.
that back to the age, and
Mm-hmm.
looking deeper. It sounds like very interesting.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully that one, not hopefully, because I know that I'm not the only one that's going through that. And that'll be something I'll talk about later too, because that was something I wasn't really prepared for or expecting, I should say. However, I still say that resilience in me, being so resilient, being so strong, being such an overcomer, that again, this was given to me. And if I couldn't handle it, I don't think he would have gave it to me. But I am able to do it so somebody else won't have to. So
You see, that's the great thing that you talked about right now,
mhm.
that it's been given to you, and you are made strong. Uh, the concept that here you're talking about, what I
Mhm,
understand is that it's like you are a person who realized that,
mhm,
and the great thing that you have talked about is that you have taken the responsibility. And
mhm,
I always teach, when I talk about responsibility, is my ability to respond when there is a need.
mhm,
And that is the level that you have achieved in
mhm,
responsibility, which is something that not many people have. That
mhm,
that, okay, this is my call, this is my
mhm,
time, this is now,
mhm,
I am ready for this, this is my calling.
mhm,
And when you take that and you take that responsibility, that makes you more stronger, and
mhm,
that makes you more prepared to take action, and take it from there on, and
mhm.
that creates a lot of willpower in you.
Yep.
So it's awesome. I like that idea.
Yes, and considering going through it, I didn't even realize it, but now I do. And even making the decisions to do it and not knowing the background, but now I have it. So, and it's like it's been there all along. It's just tapping into it, tapping into that side of me to understand.
So how you dealing now? I mean, without your husband there, and
Mhm.
how you like being single parent? How you taking life?
One day at a time, one day at a time. And
Okay.
I don't think, and now that's what I'm saying. I never really processed that. It didn't process to me that way. I just moved on, just moved with life, just kept going. And okay, this is down. It's almost like, okay, we're driving. Oh, and I got a flat tire. Okay, what do you do? Are you just gonna sit there in the car? Oh, and just cry about a flat tire? You're gonna get out and fix it. And so,
Right.
well, suppose you don't know how to fix a tire. Guess what? I didn't know how to deal with the death either, but I had to figure it out. Figure out how to change the tire. You got a spare. Figure it out. Get back in the car and keep on moving. And that's
Hmm.
where you may change the tire because you may have a little bit of knowledge of it or know how to do it. It may take you 30 minutes, but it might take me 2 hours. But it doesn't matter how long it takes me. As long as the job gets done, keep moving forward.
Amazing. And now
Mm-hmm.
now it's the time that we have to slow down, and look at things at deeper
Mm-hmm.
level. I mean, it's a beautiful concept. It's a beautiful. So I mean, tell me about, like, about your training, that how you're going to initiate the training, and who are your audience, and what you're looking, what are you looking, with respect to your coaching and training, and give us an idea a little bit about
I'm
how you're
looking
doing.
more so, I'm not going to say I'm going to just like one demographic, but I do know that I am more familiar with the women that are stuck, the women who are in their own, I'll say in my own way. My daddy used to say that all the time, you can be in your own way. To understand that we can do more, but we're just stopping and limiting ourselves. We have the glass ceilings on our own head. And that because I went through that. And not saying that I have to stay with that demographic, but for right now, that's my niche are the women, and the women who are strong but don't know how to bring that out. And because I'm starting off, I've been doing this a long time, but just not doing it in a way to really know that this is what I'm doing. Does that make sense? Because all
Yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff has been the pro bono, the relationships. Cause I love relationships, and that's where I want to focus. It's like, okay, if you can fix you to see what's going on with you. And I had that saying forever. It's like I can't change you, but I can change me. And my changes that I make to myself, you may or may not benefit from, but I can only work on me. And so if you're able to benefit, that's good. And that's what I want to work with, like people to get to that place where you can understand you, and then you decide what is there to do with me. So basically, to be a lot of listening, a lot of talking, a lot of just pulling stuff out of you of what's going on. And it's usually a situation, because that's how I've been doing it so far. It's like it's a situation that comes up, and no, and people, it's not like that, like counsel. Well, because I can mix them both. Counseling, it's not like you're gonna have to go in there and you have an issue and I have to ask you questions. But most times people have their issue and they come to you with an issue, and they just need somebody either to listen or to just connect the dot that you may or may not see. But I'm not going to give it to you. You still have to make that choice. It's
Right,
yours. But it's just something like that may or may not be there. Like, for instance, some women say, oh, I'm single, but I want a man with a credit score of an 800. I want him to have his own house. I want him to have um XYZ and money. And then my question to you is, okay, but what are you bringing to the table?
right.
You want all this, but yet you have a 250 credit score.
Right. And I think what you're talking about here is, which is like teaching someone how to fish, not giving them a fish. And that's something, that the state of, preparation that you want to get into with people, and really helping them discover their why, and telling them that, if they have that power, like we all have the power. I always, talk about that there is a potential energy that is
Mm-hmm.
sitting with us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's how and when we are going to use that potential energy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have a heavy ball in your hand, and if you are keep on holding it, there comes a time you want to drop it, then that potential that it has, it can destroy something.
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, energy is like that. We are holding that energy, but where are we using that potential?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
most of
true.
the people are not using that potential energy, and not changing that energy into like different energies,
Mm-hmm.
like changing your electrical energy into mechanical energy, and mechanical energy into, all those, different sort of energies. And that's the whole concept. So our
Mm-hmm.
body has those energies. It's just that how we utilize the energy and
Mm-hmm.
different sort of energies to get what we think is most important for us.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
this is like really amazing, and I'm planning to go back to Pakistan, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
visiting there, my family and my dad, and I was just thinking that, I am going to make it more creative. People like yourself, I'm going to talk to you from there,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see that we can set up like a small coaching session or training
Mm-hmm.
session,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
something that can help people to, and you can come up with some ideas, on that, and we can definitely, work
Mm-hmm.
together something. And that's what I think. Personally, I think that we once we are on the forum, one
Mm-hmm.
of the thing that I see is that why not you utilize the resources around. I mean, this is like, we are like, let's say, even John's program, we are like 80 people, but
Mm-hmm.
these 80 people with different background, it's like when you sum up, there's a whole lot of knowledge. There's probably, I would say, 500 years of knowledge that we all have as an kind of accumulated knowledge. So
Mm-hmm.
why not to learn from each other and pass on
Mm-hmm.
that knowledge and give that knowledge to other? Because the only way we can achieve our goals is by serving others. I personally believe
That's
that.
true. Mm-hmm.
If we, if,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been doing that for quite some time. I've been running after my goals, in life, that I was thinking that that's how I'm going to, just like you said, you're just going on your things and you never had the time. Same thing with me, I was just kind of running after some of the stuff and looking at my goal. And and I have realized over a period of time, it's not my goals that I should work on. It is
Mm-hmm.
someone else's goals that
Mm-hmm.
when I work on them and when I help them, this is like the process of uplifting. This
Mm-hmm.
helps us also to kind of reach to that level. Because when you're helping in the process, I always give an example of Rumi, the
Mm-hmm.
guy I talked about, and he said that
Mm-hmm.
when the eagle uh, teaches her offsprings how to fly.
When you teach me how to fly, yeah.
Yeah, and this is it's a beautiful concept. And she kind of pushes them to the edge and makes ensures that tries to see also that how they are ready. And when she sees that they are ready but they are in
Mm-hmm.
doubt, then she pushes them and they fall. And
Mm-hmm.
by falling, they get wings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when you're falling, you get wings. Sometimes we think we are falling, but we
Mm-hmm.
actually not falling.
Mm-hmm.
We get wings, and that's the time we fly. Anyway, I mean that was some of the concepts that. So any last thing that you want to share with our audience, or you want to talk about anything that you know you about?
Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. I was saying that talk about your heart, this is like what is in your heart. And
I would just say to the audience, if it's something out there that you feel like you want to do, I would say do it. There's not going to be a perfect time or the right time. It's your time. And so just go for it. Just jump. Just take the leap. And if you fall, it was your decision. If you fly, it was your decision. If you soar, it was your decision. So it's yours. Just take the opportunity. Just love on you enough to just do it. Just do it, and then just hold it. The responsibility. It's satisfying when you're self-made. And they say everybody's self-made, but only the successful will admit it. So do it.
right,
Just do it. Just don't let anything to hold you back. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. Just go for it. Just go
right,
for it.
right.
Mm-hmm.
That's an awesome piece of advice. Thank you, Yashika. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming on my podcast and talking to people. And I'm very hopeful that people have taken a lot of knowledge and understanding from you, and
Mm-hmm.
they will be looking forward to your book.
Mm-hmm.
And so, where do you have a website that they can?
I do. It's Yashiqa at yashikab.com. That's my email. Then the website is www.yashikab.com.
Yashikab.com. So
My first name
please,
b.com.
yeah, please go on to Yashika's website and
Mm-hmm.
take her coaching. And I'm also thinking of taking her coaching lessons because I think that she's very knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that. And thank you so much. And we'll meet again.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.